I saw some reports of physical altercations. Were you physically touched?
I wasn't, but it was super close. There was one guy that turned out got arrested, and we found out later on that he was actually he was from Portland, and he was an Antifa person from Portland that was down there in D.C. just to incite violence that night. And he had been arrested multiple times in Portland, but he was on a bicycle, and he was riding his bicycle really close to the crowds that were walking, almost to the point where he was about to hit them, and just screaming at them as he drove by. And something happened, and he fell off his bike. I didn't actually see what happened, but he turned behind us, and I heard his bike crash. We turned around, and he was getting into an altercation with another man that was significantly older than he was, and they were about to he was chasing him, and they ran right past me. And as he ran past me, I kind of advanced a little bit, trying to draw him away from that guy, just hoping that guy could get away. And he got right in my face and started yelling at me. And it looked like any second he was about to throw a punch at me. But thank goodness, about that time, there were a couple of Uniform Division Secret Service police officers that came up right behind him and grabbed him. He took off running, and they grabbed him, tackled him in the bushes, and handcuffed him. And then I don't know what happened after that. We just kept walking and got out of there. But yeah, it was pretty. It was pretty scary time.
Outside of those events, though, it sounds like a fun opportunity and a good occasion.
Oh yeah, I mean it was a great occasion, and it was a wonderful event, and I'm glad I went. But yeah, just the protesters that are there now, you can turn the TV on and you can see it at any time. It's amazing what they're doing, and what they're getting away with, quite honestly.
As we move towards the general election, of course, you will be running against Gus Trujillo in the general for 13th Congressional District. How do you see the general election with the issue of mail-in balloting and everything else that's going on with COVID-19?
Well, I think, COVID-19 has been spun up from the very beginning for political reasons. They're continuing to spin COVID-19 up to serve their purposes. And that's really what it's all about at this point. It's all about trying to get unsolicited mail-in ballots in the swing states. Now, we're not worried about it here in Texas. It's not going to affect us here. So I'm not personally worried about it for my election, but I'm worried about it for our country, because I think that we could, potentially lose an opportunity to win the majority in the House back, and potentially lose the presidency if they are able to somehow make a case for universal unsolicited mail-in ballots in the swing states. And that's what we've had mail-in ballots for a long time. I'm not against mail-in ballots per se. I voted multiple times absentee, and so that's a mail-in ballot. So I'm all about absentee balloting, for people that are outside of the area, military, so on and so forth. And we have a program for mail-in ballots at request for elderly folks who can't get out and make it to the polls. That's a completely separate issue from what they're talking about now. They're talking about now just mailing a ballot to every single person in the country that's over 18 years of age or older, and just shotgunning the entire state in these swing states with ballots to people who didn't even ask for them. And a lot of people will have died. They will have moved, all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of problems. What will happen is the operatives for the DNC will roll in right behind those ballots, and they'll gather up all those ballots from all of these places. They'll go to neighborhoods, and they'll pay people to give them their ballot. People that don't care anything about voting in the first place. They'll just say, hey, you got a ballot in the mail. I'll give you $5 for it. And they're like, absolutely, here it is. They'll gather up all these ballots. They'll fill them out, and then they'll put them back in the mailbox and send them in. It's just it's going to be unbelievable corruption if that happens. So I don't support that at all, and for the reasons I just described. But it's not going to be an issue here in our race. In our race, we're just continuing to push hard. I still got the general election in November. I'm in a good position right now. I've got the Republican nod in the number one most Republican district in the entire United States. So I should be in a really good position right now, and I am in a really good position right now. But we're not going to take anything for granted. We're not going to be presumptuous about anything. We're going to keep our foot on the gas. We're going to continue to get out and campaign and meet people aggressively and tell my story and introduce myself to those that didn't get a chance to learn anything about me or learn much about me before the primary. And so we'll be out there and we'll be looking to meet and talk to folks.
We're visiting with Republican nominee for 13th Congressional District, Dr. Ronny Jackson. this morning on AM Interview. We'll be back with more with Dr. Jackson right after this.